simple tax. We've been doing this every month since the beginning of this year. Unfortunately, we couldn't hold our 5th edition in the month of May. But
so live here on TV3, we thought we had rounded up our spot checks, but we're back at the Ghana International Press Center, where the Ghana Journalists Association, shortly, the president, Albert Jumfor, will be addressing the media on matters relating to us journalists, and then the media landscape as well, and then other matters as well in relation to conversations surrounding national discourse and the likes. And so just by way of introductory remarks, and then Albert Jumfor comes to the podium and then delivers the much anticipated address. Let's take you back there right now.
I'm for campaign yet. Giving out information that tells you about certain things is campaign. So we are not there yet. When we get to that level, you'll see people going out to do their campaign. So this afternoon we are here to do 2 things. One, to address attacks on our brothers and sisters, and in this press conference we are dealing with the recent attack on Lateef Idrisu. In our previous press conferences, we had addressed Lateef Idrisu because Lateef Idrisu has been a victim of assault. One of the cases we had indicated will be taken to the ECOWAS Community Court because the police are not active in terms of addressing that case. So when I heard about another attack on him, and if you have been following the case involving Lateef Idrisu, he himself has been out of media practice for a very long time because he's been in and out of the country seeking medical help. I remember quite recently he was in the US. I was trying to reach out to him, but he couldn't attend to me because he was scheduled to go for a review. So when God being so good, he came back and I heard him doing stories. I was very excited, only to hear another assault on him. I felt very sad, and it is the reason we are all here to speak to that attack and tell us all how the police have handled the case, what we also feel about it. Normally, when we are addressing cases like this, don't think you are far removed from them. It can happen to you the next moment you step outside. So it is something that should concern everybody, and it is a reason we are also happy whenever we have called on you to brief you, you have come in your numbers. It tells us that you are also equally concerned about our safety and security. Then the president of the GJA will also address issues relating to illegal small-scale money, or what we normally call galamsey. You know, the GJA has been in the forefront, and we are a very key member of the coalition against illegal small-scale money. And I always say that one major award category in our annual media awards is on illegal small-scale money. And it is there because we want to use that to address that critical need facing our country. So President will also be updating us on what has been happening on that front and our approach towards fighting that national canker. So in a nutshell, these are the two broad issues we are going to be addressing this afternoon. And everything lies in the mouth of the president of the GJA. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, General Secretary Kofi Yeboah, for that precursor to us listening to the president. Attacks on journalists are not far-fetched. If it's happening to somebody, it's a concern, and we all have to take interest in what is happening to our neighbor. At this point, I would like to invite to the podium the president of the GJA, Mr. Albert Jumfo, to address us. Thank you.
Sorry. Members of the National Executive of the GJA, Chairperson of the Tema branch of the GJA, colleague media practitioners, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to you all. Colleagues, the GJA extends its appreciation to you for your continued support and coverage of our programs and events. We thank you for responding to our call, even at a short notice. This is the fifth in the series of our monthly press engagement we started in January this year to highlight important media-related and national issues that require prompt action and resolution. This afternoon, we are here to share with you and the entire nation some unhealthy development in our media space and the national level. From the onset of our tenure as the servant of our noble association, we have not relented in our determination and actions to end attacks and impunity against journalists across the country. We have demonstrated through several actions, including issuing statements, stakeholders engagement, meetings with top police and military hierarchy, interactions with political heads, going to court, blacklisting of politicians, educating our members to be mindful of their actions and inactions, to get all well-meaning Ghanaians to understand that journalism is not a crime, and that journalists are critical stakeholders to national development. And indeed, journalism is not a crime. One that had a biting effect, and that gave us positive results, was our position or decision to blacklist certain personalities and individuals who have the tendency of attacking journalists and media practitioners. And we believe that it is one of the two that we will continue to explore when the need be, at any time when attack on the media and journalists is on the high. Unfortunately, some element of our society continue to unrepentantly, shamefully, and callously met out unwarranted attacks on journalists in the line of their duty. Now, colleagues, let me take you to recent attack on Lateef Idrisu. Recent attack on Lateef Idrisu, which is one of our major agenda for today. Colleagues, as you may have heard, on May 27th, 2025, the Minority Caucus in Parliament and some sympathizers of the New Patriotic Party, NPP, staged a demonstration in front of the Economic and Organized Crime Office, YOCO, in Accra to solidarize with and also call for the release of the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the party, Bernard Entry Boisiakon, popularly known as Chairman Untumi, who had been detained at the YOCO at the time. Journalists from many media houses were there to report on the demonstration, and while Joy News reporter Latif Idrisu was live on air reporting what was happening there, some heartless and inhuman sympathizers of the MPP were unsympathetic to our comrade Latif and attacked him. In his narration to the GJA, Latif said, and I quote, "They hit me with stones, hit me in the already fragile head with their arms. They hit me in the rib and spat on me." And I quote him again. He said, "They hit me with stones, hit me in the already fragile head with their hands. They hit me in the rib and spat on me. One of them hit me with a rubber band. They also threatened that they know where I live and that they would deal with me." Unquote. This is so barbaric to say the least. Ladies and gentlemen, as we always admonish journalists to do, Latif lodged an official report at the police station and also visited the Trust Hospital for checkup where his chest and head, among other parts of his body, were specifically examined. As you may be aware, Latif Idrisu had suffered an earlier attack, which is yet to fully recover from. And so this latest attack has worsened his physical and psychological well-being. He told us that, I quote, "Unfortunately, the persistent pain in my head and the trauma has resurfaced as a result." Unquote. Why should a journalist performing his constitutionally guaranteed duty be treated this way? The Ghana Journalists Association, GJA, vehemently condemns the unacceptable attack on our brother and colleague Latif. This egregious act of violence against a journalist in the line of duty is a direct assault on press freedom, democratic principles, and the fundamental right of citizens to be informed. The GJA stands in solidarity with Latif Idrisu and Multimedia and assures him and his media house of our full support. Actions of the police on the case. The GJA would like to commend the Ghana Police Service and the Inspector General of Police, IGP Christian Tete Nyonu, for the swift response and the subsequent arrest of a suspect in connection with the deplorable incident. This action sends a strong signal that attacks on journalists will not be tolerated and that the rule of law will always prevail. While acknowledging this crucial step, the GJA urges the Ghana Police Service to redouble its effort to ensure that all perpetrators involved in the attack on Latif Idrisu are identified, apprehended, and brought to justice without delay. It is important that a thorough and expedited investigation is conducted to ensure that all those responsible, directly or indirectly, face the full rigors of the law. face the full rigors of the law. We equally remind the police administration of the many unresolved cases of attack against journalists across the country, particularly that of Ahmed Swali. We know a suspect has been arrested, but we are yet to hear from the police a full briefing on the state of proceedings in court or investigations. It is our hope that the IGP will work to bring closure to all the pending cases. There are a lot of cases that we expect, a lot of cases that the police must really work on to bring a closure to those cases and to reassure journalists of our safety and security. Colleagues, we also learned that the suspect, Theophilus Thompson, was arraigned before court yesterday and has been detained. Thus, he was denied bail by the circuit court. The case has been adjourned to June 18th. I must say, and as we've always been emphasizing and stressing on, we have instructed our legal team to monitor the case and proceedings in court and advise the GJA accordingly as we move on. Impunity for attacks on journalists emboldens further acts of violence and undermine the critical role the media plays in holding all leaders, either in power or in opposition, accountable and informing the public. The GJA calls on all political parties, their supporters, and indeed
former minister denying.
Mr. Speaker, with
because
respect,
for
Mr.
me,
Speaker, with respect,
the answers. Can you produce evidence of the former minister denying?
Mr. Speaker, with
Because
respect,
for me, the answers that I have listened to, and from the question, I haven't seen anything of that nature. So when I look at it in line with Order 89, I have a problem with your question.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, if we go to the particular act he is referring to, the Learned Assembly General is referring to, the Act 989, he made reference to 13.1, but in the same act, 13.2, it provides that information which merely contains material.
The fight against the menace is unabated as the perpetrators, the illegal miners, continue their nefarious operations. There have been several attempts in the past with some level of successes, but what is being done now by President Mahama-led administration is commendable. The proactive measures being implemented to address this critical issue demonstrate a strong commitment to safeguarding our natural resources, protecting the environment, and ensuring the well-being of our communities. For 8 out of the 9 forest reserves considered most dangerous mining places in the country and manned by heavily armed illegal miners to be reclaimed by the security forces is an indication that some level of progress is being made. These are places where our journalists who report on mining have described as no-go zones. No-go zones, as some have suffered attacks for daring to go to such places. We are told that the operation is still underway. It is our hope that the security agencies who are undertaking the said operations will not relent or avail themselves to be compromised. Also, we are informed that about 300 excavators has been seized from illegal miners. Officials in the environmental space revealed that 44 out of the 288 forest reserves in the country have been taken over by illegal small-scale miners. The GJA believes that with concerted effort by all actors in the interest of the nation, the remaining 35 forest reserves,
Live here
can be
on
rescued.
TV3, where the GJA president, Albert Jumfor, has been speaking to press freedom, media attacks on colleague journalist Latif, and commended the police on the work being done. We're taking you to Parliament right now because the Attorney General is answering questions on why some high-profile cases were discontinued, most notably that of the current BOG governor. Let's take you there right now.
As a whole, for a member, if you are asking for the production of a document, it will be in relation to the content of the document and not the production of the document per se. And I have explained that that memo came to the former Attorney General and also came to me, based upon which I took the decision that I took.
Right Honorable Speaker.
Honourable Member, you may also apprise yourself by looking at Article 103.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So, Mr. Minister, I really want to understand, is it your case now then that a member of Parliament cannot ask a minister to provide documents for statement he's made? Is that your case with this House right now?
You see, that is why I'm asking you to look at Article 103. It's clear on the issue. Honourable members, let me take Article 1036. A committee appointed under this article shall have a trial for enforcing the attendance of a witness and examining them on oath, affirmation, or otherwise. B, compelling the production of a document. C, issuing a commission or a request to examine witness abroad. And it's a committee appointed. So, honourable members, I hear some members of Parliament saying I have a power of the High Court. No, that's not the case.
Right Honorable Speaker, I understand, but I'm sure you also agree with me that this House operates with both the Constitution and the standing orders. And the standing orders obviously allow a member of Parliament to ask ministers questions. And so this came in the form of a question. And I
you see, Honorable John Dako, you are getting this out of context. It is not just a question that you are asking, but your question is about production of a document. And the article that we have read doesn't suggest that a member of Parliament cannot ask questions. But the right to request for a document to be produced, Constitution has vested it in committees. That is all that we are saying. And you are a lawyer, you look at the provision clearly. It says a committee.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. And I believe that the minister saw the question as a necessary question. That's why he provided the information. So if his position is that the document exists but he cannot provide that document, then I rest my case. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable Roxanne Nelson.
Speaker.
Kwame Eche Dafamako.
Speaker, John and I go way back. In fact, my roommate in law school. It is not the minister saying he cannot provide. He says the law. My roommate in law school. It is not the minister saying he cannot provide. He says the law forbids him. And he has spoken eloquently to the matter. So creating the impression that the minister says the document exists but he cannot provide, that is not the rendition. He says it exists. but I'm forbidden by this House own enactment. It's exempted. He's quoted it in the, please, the right to information provides. It's an opinion. So we are lawmakers, and luckily we are also lawyers. So we should be guided. If he wants to use his committee to do this, it's mandated under law.
Honourable members, I was instrumental in the passage of the Right to Information Act, so I know that some informations are classified. And the minister in his answer quoted the various provisions that classified the information. Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, if care is not taken, we may be setting a very troubling precedent, all in the name of the law. All in the name of the law. What is the gravamen of the question for which the minister is arguing certain exemptions under the law to suggest that he cannot provide because RTI stops him from providing that information? Mr. Speaker, for the avoidance of doubt, and I would urge patience as we all navigate this matter, because it's not for today. Whatever we're saying now for Hansard may be a reference point tomorrow. And I'm not disturbed at all when Speaker rules for or against. What is the member saying? Listen, to ask the Attorney General and Minister for Justice to provide the memorandum which formed the basis for the decision to withdraw charges against Dr. John Pandit Isiama. Mr. Speaker, a Minister of State has taken a decision on the basis of an advice. We all know that, of course, Noli Prosequa, he is not required by law to explain or give. Mr. Speaker, and may my colleagues exercise restraint and listen. Mr. Speaker, to the extent that this has become a public interest matter, resulting in a member of parliament asking you to provide that information, at least it helps you and your image and that of the government, that the basis upon which you filed the Noli Prosequa was well founded. If you now say that by a certain enactment, the member of parliament must file for some disclosure under RTI or that, and that by this act, House's own enactment, he is forbidden or he is stopped from providing the information. Mr. Speaker, I find it very rich. I find it very rich.
Honorable
That is an unfortunate.
Honorable Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, if I may conclude with respect.
But with all due respect, you and I were here and we took part in the passage of the law.
That is so.
Now, does the law says in classifying the information that based on public interest the information should be provided? If no, then I believe we should proceed to another question.
Mr. Speaker, this exercise is good for all of us. Mr. Speaker, who determines, honorable member for Isikado, you are coming
Please
from
address the chair.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, I want my respected junior colleague to know that she shouldn't come to the front bench to be talking across, please. Mr. Speaker, who is determining that this piece of advice, the basis for this decision by the Attorney General, is classified? Is he the one who is saying that it is classified, or the law is saying
The law.
That when, Mr. Speaker, I need to finish. Mr. Speaker, I have had my time at the bar. Mr. Speaker, I have had my time at the bar, and I'm able to make my argument. I have to be heard, and if you disagree, you rule against me. The interjections are getting out of hand. Mr. Speaker, if the law is saying that any primary document, the subject matter of a final decision making, is classified, the law must expressly say so. Mr. Speaker, if the Attorney General, the first gentleman of the bar, a citizen is facing prosecution, and he comes in to say that no, I'm withdrawing charges, and he says that it is not me, but I have been advised, and it's not me. The Attorney General is not saying that he himself.
Attorney General, I'll give you the floor.
But he says that the Attorney General is saying that he's been advised, because, Mr. Speaker, the government of the question tells it all. That says that provide the memorandum. Mr. Speaker, the fact that there is a memorandum is a matter of subject public knowledge. The Attorney General's office put out in the public domain that there was a memorandum, that it is based on the memorandum that he has exercised discretion. The questioner is therefore asking you, make available to the people's representatives this memorandum, and you say it's classified, it's a secret document, it's very rich. He will not use any available other tool. The tool available to him is what he's using to say that make available that memorandum for all of us to see. Peruse it. Mr. Speaker, I so submit, and I believe that the member must be allowed to ask his question, and that minister cannot hide under any law to say he won't give the details of this memorandum.
Honorable Minority Leader, I would have a problem when you say the member is not allowed to ask questions. The member has been given the opportunity to ask the question. Now the minister has provided answers to those questions. Then the member had the opportunity of even asking supplementary questions. You see, Honorable John Dako, with all due respect, we are not in Makola. We are in Parliament. You cannot just shout across like that. You cannot just shout across like that. So the minister has provided the answers. So when the answers are provided, the minister quoted the right law to say that this particular information is a classified information. So once a classified information. Now, the minister also went further to say that the circumstances based on which you can be compelled to produce documents are spelled out in Article 103. And I even took the trouble to read Article 103, specifically 6. So I have a difficulty getting the tangent from which you are coming from. Yes, Whip.
Speaker, the minister appropriately referenced the RTI Act. And the minority leader is suggesting that requirement be set aside. He says, he actually says so, that we shouldn't do this within the law. But that cannot be. Because,
remember, that is why I'm asking him that the
Speaker,
Right Information Act that
RT
we all
actually
pass,
classifies.
does it set out the circumstances of that nature?
Speaker, under Section 84, the interpretation section of RTI Act, it defines, Speaker, it defines state secret as follows: includes information considered confidential by the government, which, if disclosed, will be prejudicial to the security of the state or injurious to the public interest, and it proceeds. Mr. Speaker, In the answer provided by the minister, he referenced that the information as requested by the applicant seeks access to a memo from the prosecution's division to the former AG on a case prosecuted by the prosecution's division. The correspondence refers to constitute the legal opinion on the case given by the prosecution's division to the former AG. The request will most likely, as normally done, be for the review and approval of the former AG. This is an opinion. And this is classified under the Exempt Act, properly defined as a state secret. So for the minority leader to actually suggest that we should set all these requirements under law aside and play to the public gallery is actually saying that we shouldn't rule this house by rule of law. We should rule by the opinion of the masses out there. And that will be chaotic. It will be leading us into a path that clearly...
Yes, honorable members, in the absence of any supplementary question.
Speaker, very
Yes.
respectfully.
Yes.
Speaker, this is a very important matter.
Do you have a supplementary question?
Speaker, I have a supplementary question.
So please proceed to ask the supplementary question within the meaning
Honorable
of Order 89.
Attorney General, Honorable Attorney General, given that the instant request by the Honorable Member of Parliament was not made under the RTI Act, but under the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. The Constitution gives every Member of Parliament to ask questions under our standing orders. You ask questions in performance of your oversight responsibility. To the extent that the question that came was not under the RTI Act, but in performance of the members' oversight responsibility, do you think that you can exclude it under the RTI Act? Do you think that you can exclude? Do you think that you can exclude it under the RTI Act, especially taking into account the fact that the RTI Act cannot exclude the performance of a legislative duty under the Constitution? Do you think you can do that?
So before giving the floor to the Honorable Minister to explain, Honorable Member Questioner, do you think if an information is classified under the right to information, when you are proceeding not under the right to information, the information should be given out?
Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, you asked me.
Very well. Minister,
Mr. Speaker,
you have the floor.
I think that the RTI Act is not relevant in the circumstance. First and foremost, Mr. Speaker, the duty we perform on the floor of this House, Mr. Speaker, under Article 93 of the Constitution and other provisions, Mr. Speaker, that flows there from. Mr. Speaker, are legislative duties. The RTI Act, Mr. Speaker, under Section 1 is clear as to its relevance. Mr. Speaker, when a member of Parliament is performing that and every minister will come to this floor and say that every information we seek is confidential. It is a very dangerous part, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Member,
very dangerous part.
I believe in constitutional jurisprudence. You mentioned Article 93. Article 93 says there shall be Parliament of Ghana which shall consist of not less than 140 elected members. 2. Subject to the provisions of this Constitution, the legislative power of Ghana shall be vested in Parliament and shall be exercised in accordance with this Constitution. What has this got to do with the legislative power?
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I said, Mr. Speaker, I said 93 and other provisions. Mr. Speaker, it is very important we appreciate Mr. Speaker, it's important we appreciate that in interpreting the Constitution, you interpret it as a whole, not in isolation, with every part giving harmony to each provision. Mr. Speaker, if you go on this tangent, this House is in trouble.
Kindly resume your seat. That is why in quoting 93, I didn't quote 93.1 and leave 93.2. I have read the 93 in a whole. I've read the 93 as a whole document. Yes, Honorable Minister, Speaker, you may wind up. I think we should move to another question.
Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, may the minority leader give me his ear. Right Honorable Speaker, I am supremely surprised that the Honorable Darko, being the lawyer that he is saying that a statute duly enacted by this House for purposes of the implementation of a constitutional provision should be set aside in the interest of so-called performance of legislative duties. In fact, no, this is very important. We enacted the Right to Information Act, and we saw it fit and proper in the implementation of the right to information under Article 21 of the Constitution to say that certain aspects of public information may be exempted from disclosure. And Section 13 of the Act, 13.1, is specific that opinions, expressed in the normal course of the performance of the duties of a ministry, department, or agency of government is exempt from disclosure. Despite the fact that when the honorable member made the request, there was no reference to the Right to Information Act. There was no reference to the Right to Information Act. But I can say, Mr. Speaker, that this was a public disclosure, in all its dimensions. And in fact, I was asked to provide the memorandum. I was not asked to disclose the content of the memorandum. There's a world of difference between the two. Production of documents is a different matter altogether from from disclosure of the information. And the disclosure of the information is what is regulated by the RTI. When it comes to the production of documents under Article 103(6) of the Constitution, it is only committees of Parliament that are vested with the power to compel the production of documents. And that is why I told the honorable member that if he's asking that we should produce the document, he does not have that power as a single member of this House to compel the Attorney General to produce that document. In any case, the opinion was provided by the DPP, that is the Director of Public Prosecutions, to the former Attorney General, and government is a continuum. Based upon that opinion which was expressed, I took the decision and I took ownership of that decision. I took responsibility. So contrary to the assertion by the honorable minority leader that I took that decision because of the memorandum, and therefore I wasn't the one who took the decision. I took the decision, and I take responsibility for it. But in justifying the taking of the decision, I refer to the memorandum, and I can tell you in all honesty, and I'm acting with integrity before this House, that memorandum is in existence, but it is exempt under the Right to Information Act. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honorable member, please kindly resume your seat because you had the opportunity to ask your two questions. Please, minority leader. Honorable members, we are at a stage that we're supposed to ask supplementary question. If it is not a supplementary question, please, I would even overrule you before you wind up. Yes, let me take minority leader first. Supplementary question.
Mr. Speaker, before going into the supplementary question, I believe that the learned Attorney General took to the dispatch box, and although you had ruled on the question, he took the opportunity to express an opinion on the matter. If you would permit me, I would want to express a view. First of all, Mr. Speaker, he misconstrued the submissions made by me earlier. And Mr. Speaker, he is the one who put out this issue of memorandum. He said that he relied on the advice of the DPP as contained in a memorandum to take a decision. My issue is this. To the extent that in taking
Honorable
this decision,
Minority Leader, I think that is not a supplementary question. So,
Mr. Speaker, yes,
with all
Mr.
due,
Speaker, I didn't say
with
I was
all
asking
due
a
respect,
supplementary question.
please
Mr. Speaker,
kindly resume your seat. With all due respect, let me hear from Honorable Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker,
Honorable
please,
Minority
Mr. Speaker,
Leader,
bear
please,
with
with
me.
all due respect,
Mr. Speaker, I
kindly
get you,
resume
Mr.
your
Speaker.
seat.
Bear with me.
Let me hear from
Leader.
Honorable Majority Leader. Honorable Majority Leader, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker,
Honorable Majority Leader, you have the floor. Honorable Minority Leader, kindly resume your seat.
Mr. Speaker.
With all due respect, kindly resume
Mr.
your
Speaker,
seat.
I shall yield to you.
Very well. Honorable Majority Leader.
The Minister for Justice and Attorney General, you indicated in your answer that you relied on a memorandum. I want to ask the Minister if, in the exercise of his discretion to enter a nolle prosequi, whether he is obliged to explain at all.
Yes, Honorable Minority Leader. Honorable Minister.
Yeah, by law, Mr. Speaker, by law, I'm not obliged to explain my decision to enter a nolle prosequi. But in situations where, or even in situations where I terminate the case after the prosecution has ended its, has ended its case, I am not obliged to explain the reasons why I have terminated the matter. And so on both counts, whether it was a nolle prosequi or it was a termination, I am not obliged to explain.
Yes, Honorable Minority Leader.
Honorable Attorney General, would you agree with me that to the extent that you volunteered to make a disclosure of the existence of a memorandum giving rise to your decision to terminate the prosecution, you are obliged under Article 23 of the Constitution to act fairly by way of ensuring a full disclosure in the public interest, because you have brought the matter up to the public knowledge. You were not obliged to make any disclosure, as you said.
Honorable Minority Leader, with all due respect, together let's look at Order 88.7. With all due respect.
Very well.
It states that a member in asking question, Order 88.7.
Mr. Speaker,
a member in asking question
Mr. Speaker,
shall not address the House, raise any argument, or offer an opinion.
Okay.
So let's operate within the rules.
Very well. Mr. Speaker, very well. Very well. Honorable Attorney General, it is your case that by law you are not obliged to explain why you've entered nolle prosequi, but you are on record to have made a disclosure to the public regarding the existence of a memorandum giving rise to your decision, wouldn't you, under the circumstance, be obliged to comply with Article 23 of the Constitution?
Honourable Minister, you have the floor.
Right, Honourable Speaker. Article 23 is on administrative authorities, and it obliges administrative authorities to act fairly and reasonably and comply and be candid and comply with the requirements imposed by law. Right, Honourable Speaker, this afternoon I acted fairly and candidly, and I complied with the RTI Act in my answer. So I have complied with Article 23, and in any case, I was exercising executive authority and not administrative authority. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Minority Leader.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, in view of the Minister's answer, may I know from him, having regard to his own disclosure to this House, that he decided to enter a nolle prosequi for ordinary language, that there was prosecution of Dr. Isiama, and he said that he is no more interested in the prosecution. And he was not obliged to explain to the public why he has stopped the prosecution, but he explained. Would he say that that decision complied with Article 296 of the Constitution?
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the minority leader, that will be in 30 years' time. The minority leader is shifting goalposts. First of all, he tried to pin me down in respect of Article 23 and failed in that effort. Now he's asking if I complied with Article 296 on the exercise of discretion. In fact, within the context of Article 296, I acted, in a manner that was non-arbitrary. Okay? In the sense that I took the decision and I counted to the people of this country. And in fact, I even quoted portions of the advice that was in line with the letter and spirit of Article 296. What the minority is seeking to achieve, now, and let us face it, this is politics. What the minority is seeking to achieve now is basically to vindicate the former Attorney General, who denied the existence of the memo. But if you talk to the staff who were involved in the work, they will affirm or confirm that that memo was authored, that it was on the basis of the memo and the discussions I held with them that I took the decision, which is the subject matter of the member's question. In any case, Right Honourable Speaker, the member is not asking for a disclosure of the information on the memo. He's asking for a production of the document. And that is because the former Attorney General publicly said that that memo did not exist. And so you are seeking to vindicate him in the sense that the memo did not exist. But I can confirm that the memo exists. No. Production of the document, I have come under RTI to say that the document is exempt. We are complying with the law that was enacted by this House. So we, as lawmakers, enacted a law. We should be the first people to comply with the tenets of the law. Because as Right Honourable Speaker likes saying, quoting the German philosopher Habermas, law is communicative action. And if we have communicated the principles of the RTI law to the public, to the populace, we should be the first people to comply with it. So I have complied with the RTI law. I have complied with Article 23 of the Constitution. I have also complied with Article 296 of the Constitution. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker.
Minority Leader, if I heard you well, you say this is your last question. After the last question, do you ask another last question
Mr.
again?
Speaker, the respected learned Attorney General, taking his time at the dispatch box, argues in his submission that he made some disclosure of that advice in his public accountability engagement. In other words, one of the press conferences that he himself held, according to him...
Minority Leader, I have read Order 88.7 to you.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I'm not saying anything
does
new.
not allow you to
very
do
well.
what you
Mr.
are
Speaker,
doing.
Mr.
So
Speaker,
you are either going to ask a question
Mr. Speaker, I get you.
or I overrule you.
Mr. Speaker, I get the point you want to make. I shall assist the chair. Mr. Speaker, the learned Attorney General has disclosed to us that he has already made available aspects of the memo to the public. Would he make that disclosure before Parliament? Those details that he disclosed to the public, according to him, would he make that same disclosure here?
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the press conference that I delivered on that fateful day when I mentioned or I made reference to the memo, I quoted portions of the memo, and it's already a public document. And so I think that that document, the press conference, can be made available to the Minority Leader and his members if they want.
Mr. Speaker, with the greatest respect, Mr. Speaker, with the greatest respect, this is House of Parliament. If a Minister of State before Parliament and at the dispatch box says that he has made some disclosures, and we say repeat them for the purpose of Hansard, then you can say you produce them for Hansard. It is not for private consumption. The information is for Hansard. Mr. Speaker, may he state his position correctly. Is he saying that he will make it available for Hansard?
Minority Leader, let's look at it practically.
Very well.
We've all engaged in press conference. So if you have done a press conference and some days or months after, you are being called upon to be by the dispatch box to state what is contained in the press conference.
Mr. Speaker, we can solve it this way. He himself, Mr. Speaker, don't worry. I'm always amenable. This matter, you don't drag it. He says he will make the document available. Can he? Yes, he says he will make the press conference available.
Mr. Speaker, he even indicated that
Mr. Speaker,
it
then
is
he should
now
make it
a
available
public
for Hansard.
document.
Very well, he should make it available for Hansard, so that we'll take it from.
Well, I intend not to give such orders that he should make it available now. Honourable Ayarga, you have the floor.
I was just going to say that, Mr. Speaker, that question is unrelated to the question. The question is about a memorandum. That question is about a memorandum. But this one is talking about a press conference statement. Oh. Mr. Speaker, the Minority Leader just confirmed to everybody in this chamber that he's a master of mischief. that he is a master of mischief.
Yes,
But I
I've
don't know
heard
how to
him
do
that you
mischief.
don't know how to do
I don't know
mischief.
how to do mischief.
With all due respect, we have taken too much time on this question. I intend not to allow any further question. I proceed to question number 120, standing in the name of Mr. Anthony Mie, Odotobri, Member of Parliament. You have the floor.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise to ask the Minister for Justice and Attorney General the efforts being made to finalize the legislative instrument, which is to regulate the operation of the Lands Act, Act 1036, for same to be presented to Parliament for consideration and passage.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, by a correspondence with reference number DB 134/135/01, dated 15 July 2024, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, that is the sponsor of the land regulations, submitted drafting instructions on the land regulations to the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice for vetting. The correspondence was received on July 18, 2024 at the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice. By a correspondence with reference number SI 19/2024, dated 23 July 2024, the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice requested a sponsor for an electronic copy of the drafting instructions to facilitate work on the regulations. On receipt of the electronic copy of the drafting instructions, the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice proceeded to vet the drafting instructions, and by a correspondence with reference number SI 19/2024, dated 21st October 2024, submitted the draft regulations and comments on the draft regulations to the sponsor. The sponsor was requested to respond to the comments and to communicate any further comments the sponsor may have on the draft regulations to enable the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice to finalize the work on the draft regulations. Mr. Speaker, however, by correspondence with reference number DB 134/135/01, dated 28 February 2025, the sponsor submitted to the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice new drafting instructions on the land regulations and responses to comments on the draft land regulations. The responses use the new drafting instructions as the source document. The new drafting instructions were a revision of the draft regulations and incorporation of new draft legislative proposals. To facilitate work on the drafting instructions, the Office of the Attorney General, by correspondence with reference number SI 19/2024, dated 24th of March 2025, requested the sponsor to respond to the comments with reference to the draft regulations prepared by the Office of Attorney General and Ministry of Justice and submitted to the sponsor under cover of correspondence dated 21st October 2024. In addition to any new legislative proposals they may have to the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice in a separate document. This point was reiterated at a meeting held on 16 April 2025 between the officers of the Lands Commission and an attorney of the Office of the Attorney General. Further to the correspondence with reference number SI 19/2024, dated 24th March 2025, and the meeting held on the 16th of April 2025, the sponsor has, by correspondence with reference number SCR/LCS 830/17, dated 17th April 2025, responded accordingly to the request. The correspondence was received by the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice on 13th May 2025. The sponsor has provided responses to the comments on the draft land regulations and submitted new legislative proposals for a revision of the draft land regulations. The Office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice has revised the draft regulations to incorporate the responses to the comments raised and the new legislative proposals into the draft regulations and submitted it by correspondence dated 9th June 2025 for the consideration of the sponsor. Further to the expression of satisfaction by the sponsor with the regulations, the Office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice will finalize and submit the regulations to the sponsor, and in accordance with the enactment process, request the sponsor to liaise with the clerk to the Parliamentary Committee on Subsidiary Legislation to arrange for a pre-laying meeting for the Parliamentary Committee on Subsidiary Legislation to consider the regulations before the regulations are laid in Parliament for the statutory 21 sitting days in accordance with Article 11(7) of the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable Member, any supplementary?
There will be no further questions. I am very grateful, Minister. I'm also grateful to the Right Honourable Speaker.
Thank you very much. Yes, Honourable Jerry Ahmed Shaib.
Very well, Right Honourable Speaker. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Just to find out from the Honourable Attorney General if he has any timelines to the effect with reference to the response he just gave.
But Honourable Jerry, actually he is not the sponsor. The sponsor will be the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. So they are just providing legal services, which the ANZA has indicated. So if there is a minister that should be providing a timeline, there should be minister responsible for lands and natural resources.
Very well, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I do not know if I can proceed to ask a further question. Subject to.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, I just want to find out when he hopes to transmit the advice to the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources.
Well, let me give the chance to the minister. But the answer clearly has been given. That has been transmitted on the 9th.
On the 9th
of June.
That is just two days ago. No, a day ago.
Yes.
That's Monday. Yes. Yeah, I've sent the advice to the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources.
Mr. Speaker, in view of the fact that this is a major public interest matter, the fact that, Mr. Speaker, the activities on our water bodies, on our forest reserves, have become of grave concern to the country. Would the Attorney General ensure that, having transmitted this opinion, his assigned officers at the Lands Ministry will facilitate the drafting of this legislative instrument to this House without further delay?
Honourable members, respectfully, I stand on Standing Order 89 to overrule the question. Is there any other question? Yes, Majority Leader, any indication?
Mr. Speaker, I think that is it for questions.
Very well. Then, if that's the case, let me discharge the Attorney General. Attorney General, thank you very much for attending upon the House and answering the questions slated for you. We are most grateful for answering the question to the satisfaction of the members of Parliament. You are hereby discharged.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, when you are presiding, you don't pass judgment to the extent that we are satisfied with his answers. Mr. Speaker, we are not satisfied with his answers.
He gave political answers and we are not satisfied with his answers.
Well, Honorable Habib, the Speaker looking at the atmosphere is just expressing an opinion. So my opinion is that members are satisfied with the answers provided. Yes, Majority Leader. Now, indication.
The Honorable Ranking, please. It's been admitted, please. Mr. Speaker himself has admitted. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Ranking has been sitting since we started to take his statement, which you admitted. Mr. Speaker, he's now ready to take his statement. Yeah, he's Mr. Speaker, he's ready to take his statement if you grant him the leave.
Honourable members, by the rules, when statements are admitted, they are supposed to be transmitted to the clerk and they program the statement. Honourable members, this issue of statement being handed over there and then, and you are expected to admit it, is not helping all of us. So, appropriately, I will indicate and transmit the statement to the clerk that please, the statement has been admitted. Kindly program it to be taken.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, look, your leader is seated. Please take your seat. If for nothing at all, he is the one to rise on any rebuttal. You sit down. You are a junior, so sit down. Sit down. You sit down. This is leader. You are in the ship. You are not a leader. You are in the ship. This is leader to leader. Sit down. Mr. Speaker, I made a humble application to you. Mr. Speaker, there is an important matter that we all know is happening in our country. The minority through its ranking brought this statement to you. Mr. Speaker, it is so critical, a statement that will help all of us as Ghanaians. Mr. Speaker, I would plead with you that kindly grant him leave to proceed to make a statement. Mr. Speaker, please, there are other statements. That one I won't press it. But the one on the health issues, the nurses, Mr. Speaker, I will plead with you. It's something that all of us want to have a bite on for the good of our country. Mr. Speaker, so I'm pleading with you. Mr. Speaker, it's a humble plea. I'm not asking for the other statement you admitted. It's in respect of Dr. Ayuefri and Honorable Jerry Ahmed. Mr. Speaker, Jerry is in leadership. Honorable Majority Leader, I saw you shaking your head. Don't do this. The Parliament is for the minority. You've been in minority before. You've been on this side before. You've been on this side before. I saw you. I've been in that chair before. I saw you. You see, please. Let's allow him to make his statement. I expect you to be the one.
Minority Leader, you know me. Honesty is the best policy. Honourable members, first I walk into the chamber, 3 statements were referred to me. One standing in the name of the minority leader, another one standing in the name of Honorable Stephen Amwa, another one standing in the name of Honorable Patricia Apiaje. I have admitted all to be programmed by the clerk. Then the deputy whip also brought a statement, but honestly speaking, I was unable to read through his statement to even take a decision whether to admit or not to admit. But I'm being called upon to call the statement. That's the difficulty that I have. That's the difficulty that I have. So the admitted statement for today are to be programmed by the clerk. So if I'm not being given the opportunity to read through the statement and take a decision, then I am also operating contrary to the rules. Yes, Majority Leader. Oh, Honorable Habib, still on statement.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I just want to draw your attention to section of Order 93.1. Order 93.1 up to 8. Mr. Speaker, like you indicated, the person or the member to make the statement have not offended our rules in any way. If there is one way or the other, either the clerk at table have not been able to program his statement, that is not his fault, because statement has been advertised on the order paper today. So it did not offend under Order 93.7. Mr. Speaker, it says that the Speaker shall cause to be transmitted to the clerk statement admitted to be made on a particular day to be advertised on the order paper for the purpose of the notice of members. Mr. Speaker, that has been complied. That if you look at today's order paper, page 3, 9, item 9, we have statement. So, Mr. Speaker, if the clerk at table did not have statement admitted, and for that matter, statement to be read today, there's no reason for it finding its place under the order paper. So, Mr. Speaker, as such, I invite you to indulge the member to make such statements.
Honourable Member, I think we are speaking at cross purpose. Read Order 93.2. It states, the proposed statement shall be admitted by the Speaker with or without modification. Now, whilst I am in the chamber, a statement has been given to me to admit, and I couldn't read the statement. How would I transmit this statement to the clerk with or without modification? So the point that I'm making is that when I walk in, I receive 3 statements which I quickly read through and admitted them to be programmed by the clerk. Then my very good friend and classmate brought his statement. But you can see that his statement I have not read through, so I have not indicated anything. But because I have read the majority leader's statement, I have admitted it to be forwarded to the clerk. Because I have read the statement of Honorable Patricia Apiaje, I have admitted it to be programmed by the clerk. I have read the statement by Honorable Stephen Amwa once in the chamber. I have admitted it to be transmitted. But because Speaker called me to take the chair, I could not read through the statement of my friend Jerry Ahmed. So there is no indication whether it's been admitted or it's not. This is my copy.
Mr. Speaker.
That's the point I'm making.
Mr. Speaker, the able minority leader gave an indication that the member is going to make the statement with regards to the striking nurses. Mr. Speaker, and if you read Order 93.1 properly, it says that, Mr. Speaker, by the indulgence of the House and the leave of a Speaker, a member may explain a matter of personal nature or make a statement on a matter of urgent public importance. Mr. Speaker, people are dying in our hospital as a result of the striking nurses. This is a
Honorable
matter
Habib,
of
kindly resume your seat.
important, Mr.
Honorable
Speaker.
Habib, kindly resume your seat.
if you want to make an urgent statement taking advantage of Order 93.1 and 67, you ought not to have put it in writing requesting that I should admit or not to admit. Is that the procedure? When your leader has been raising matters of urgent public importance, does he put it into writing? But having written a statement, expecting me to admit it, I will have to read through the statement and decide whether to admit or not to admit. That is the point that I'm making. You have written a statement calling on me to admit the statement. How do I admit the statement without reading through it? If this statement was even to be given to me a day prior to today, you would have been fair to me. I also walk in Parliament, then you give me a statement whilst in Parliament.
Mr. Speaker, I would plead with you to, Mr. Speaker, I would plead with you. I've engaged my colleague. I'm not done. I've engaged my colleague, the majority leader, to oblige this request. Mr. Speaker, he hasn't given me his concurrence. He hasn't told me that he agrees. But Mr. Speaker, though a statement has been forwarded to you, Mr. Speaker, I would again and again plead that since the member intends to invoke Order 93 to bring this to the attention of this House, I humbly plead with you that, Mr. Speaker, let's oblige him. Mr. Speaker, I agree that we must go by our rules, but we've had some rare occasions where we as masters of our own rules have looked at ways of accommodating certain urgent matters for the purposes of democracy. Mr. Speaker, I am pleading with you.
Honorable Minority Leader, you know I'm not a difficult person, but nothing will let me set a bad precedent. Bad precedent in the sense that a member will bring a statement for admission, and there and then the member wants to read the statement. 2, if the member is unable to read the statement, then the member now turn around to say that though I have brought a statement for you to admit, because you didn't admit the statement, let me read the statement under Order 93.1 and 67. The indication is that I intend not to grant any leave.
Mr. Speaker, respectfully. Mr. Speaker, respectfully. I'm thinking Order 93.1. There's some moral implication of this reasons why this order is here. Mr. Speaker, matter of urgent public importance. We have clinics closed, people are dying, and we want to share with you why we should talk about this. And at the end of the day, Mr. Speaker, I beg leave of you and with your permission.
Honorable Afriye, kindly resume your seat.
Sit up and down. Yeah, I would sound horrible. You don't understand what you're talking about, Bessie.
Honorable Habib, I intend not to open any debate on this issue. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I think that we can take an adjournment to tomorrow, during which those statements that you have admitted can be made. There's no difference between today and tomorrow, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, honorable members. Motion move for adjournment. Any seconder?
Mr. Speaker, I want to draw your attention to
Honorable Habib. Honorable Habib, resume your seat.
Speaker,
motion
I
move
rise
for
to second the
adjournment.
motion.
Any seconder? Yeah, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second the motion. Yes, I rise to second the motion. In doing so, Mr. Speaker, I make this statement.
Honorable Afriye, if you don't take time, I will send you out of the house.
I'm not worried about that.
Why are you taking liberty for nonsense?
I'm not worried about that. It's an issue of urgent public importance. I can leave.
In doing so, make one statement.
I can leave. I am ready to leave. I am ready to leave.
What do you mean by in doing so, make one statement?
I am ready to leave. You can send me out. I'm ready to leave.
Members.
Mr. Speaker, we rise to make this statement on an issue of immediate and far-reaching concerns to our country. The ongoing national strike action declared by the
You are hereby directed to walk Afriye out of the house. What is that?
But I'll switch on the mic so
Members, motion moved and seconded. The question is, as many as are in favor of adjournment say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The House is adjourned to tomorrow, Wednesday, 11 June 2025 at 2 p.m.
What make I boy.
That's it. Let's go call them and talk to them. Is that James? Call my other line. I need the call my other line. 0543. I know that the guy won't make it. The ranking was the hell. I'm sure it's on the strike thing. Why do you see a bit of
So this is what this is how sitting for today has ended, and it ended in quite unpleasant situations with a threat to the ranking member on the Health Committee of Parliament, Dr. Uefrie, the Speaker of Parliament, threatening that he would remove him from the chamber if he goes on the tangent that he is going. And that resulted in some other members of the minority surrounding him, or if you like, encompassing him to protect him from the attempt by the marshals of Parliament, as well as later on a security official, a police official also joined in the attempt to remove the Member of Parliament from the chamber, as was, if you like, directed by the Speaker of Parliament. Now, how all of this happened was because the House, they were debating on a few things, if you like. It happened after a few concerns or a few questions were asked of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, and these were questions that were advertised in the order paper with answers provided also by the Attorney General and Minister for Justice. Now, some of the questions that were asked the Minister that, if you like, brought sitting to this kind of stop is this. A response was provided by the Attorney General and Minister for Justice for a question that was asked of him, and that question was in relation to some concerns that these members of Parliament had. The first had to do with the Attorney General and Minister of Justice to provide the memorandum which formed the basis for the decision to withdraw the charges against Dr. John Pandit Asiema. Now, the House spent a considerable number of time on this question, and the responses provided by the Attorney General indicated that he will not be able to provide concrete answers because after consideration of the request, it is the view of the Attorney General that the information requested cannot be provided as the information falls under the exempt information under the Right to Information Act 2019, and I'm talking about Act 989. So it traveled from this tangent until it got to some other concerns raised by supplementary questions in relation to the same subject from the minority leader, for instance, with a few other questions also coming from some other members of the minority caucus in the House, all trying to elicit a preferable response, in their opinion, from the Attorney General. And something the Attorney General was convinced in his mind that he will not be able to do. So fast forward, conversations were ongoing, and then it happened that conversations were ongoing, a few more questions were being asked, and sitting had to be adjourned. A motion was moved by the majority, and while the minority was supporting the motion, if you like, it's built up into this kind of end to today's sitting.
For you, the minority is just addressing in the foyer of Parliament. We know that the ranking on the Health Committee, who was asked in the last few minutes of proceedings today to walk out, is addressing a news conference outside. When Crosby is able to bring us those visuals, we will bring you live visuals. We're still live on TV3. This is our continuing coverage of important proceedings from Parliament. Now, we're taking a pause now because we want to join live that news conference being addressed by the minority caucus in Parliament. As Crosby has rightly said, in the last few minutes of proceedings, the ranking on the Health Committee, Nana Ayew, was asked to walk out for the disturbances or for his behavior during that period. And we saw what happened after that. The members of that caucus prevented the marshal from taking up his duty to help him or escort him out of the chamber. My guess is that news conference is going to address that issue thoroughly. But how did we get here? The minority caucus was asked the Speaker of Parliament to admit motions around the GRNMA strike at the moment. The Speaker had indicated why that could not be done at that time. Unfortunately, it did not sit well with the minority caucus, which led to the ranking on health speaking at the time he wasn't supposed to. The Speaker, who was looking forward to, the first Deputy Speaker, that is, who was looking forward to adjourn proceedings, went on to adjourn the proceedings, but first he asked the marshals to walk out. The Member of Parliament, Nana Ayew, who is ranking on the Health Committee. So that's what happened. Now, before then, there was that period where the Attorney General answered questions, a number of questions. I'll run you through that quickly. The first one from Waliwale MP, Dr. Abdul Kabiru Tia Mahama, who sought to know from the Attorney General and Minister for Justice the status of the prosecution of the armed robbery incident that occurred in Waliwale on 12 February 2024 and when the families of the two deceased will get justice. The Swami MP, John Darko, also asked the Attorney General and Minister for Justice to provide the memorandum which formed the basis for the decision to withdraw the charges against Dr. John Pandit Isiama. That issue also went on and on. The Attorney General then responded to say that indeed the Minority Caucus are looking to vindicate the former Attorney General. Let's take you to Parliament now. Oh, my understanding is we can't do that at this point, but at 7 p.m., we'll bring you what happened during that press conference in Parliament. That'll be all for now. I'm Kemini Amano.
Does your toothpaste give you complete fresh protection? New Close-Up Toothpaste Complete Fresh Protection takes care of your 5 important oral care needs. It gives you strong teeth, prevents cavities, cleans deeply,